Hi there folks, so in this video I'm going to try and show you how to play Hotel California on just one guitar, okay? If you listen to the record, there's loads of different guitar tracks on there, and we're going to try and whittle that down into an arrangement you could play on just one guitar. So I'm not going to show you exactly how it's played by the Eagles on their famous recording. We're going to look at how you can get the basics of that song down on one guitar. And I'm going to show you a few different things in this video. Hopefully there's something for everyone, whatever level you might be at in your playing. So I'm going to show you just the outline of the chords, okay? I think that's the first thing to get, is just being able to change through the chords, okay? And if you're still early on in your playing, that might be a challenge in itself. So we're going to look at just outlining those chords and how we can do that and still make it sound like Hotel California. I'm going to show you a strumming pattern you can use through the whole song, and that will work really nicely throughout the chords. And then I'm going to show you how you can put a little twist on that strumming pattern to make that come to life a little bit more, make it just a little bit more sophisticated. And I've got a couple of little extra bits I'll show you as well. For those of you that are a bit further along, I'm going to show you how you can pick up the little bass run that appears in the chorus. And also I'm going to give you a picking pattern you can use to make a nice little intro for the song as well, okay? So first things first, I've got my guitar set up here, as you can see, with a capo on at the 7th fret. That's the first approach I'm going to show you, is playing up here at the 7th fret. I'm then going to take you through playing with a capo down at the 2nd fret. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways you can do this without a capo at all as well, okay? So not all of those ways of playing it might be for you. So have a look at them, see what you think is best suited to you, okay? The first one here at the 7th fret is using just open chords, okay? And it's going to be using, let's run through them all in order then in the song. So we've got E minor, and we've got B7, then D, then an A7, played with this inversion, okay, not this one. It's a bit too striking with this note on top here. It's much sweeter. Okay, we're going to go for that. Then we're going to use a C chord. We're going to use a G chord, an A minor, and then at the end of the verse it goes back to a B7. The chorus uses all those same chords, just jumbled up in a different way. So the chorus would be the C chord, then G, B7, E minor. Then goes round again, starts the same way with C, off to G, then A minor, finishing up B7. Okay, and I'll point out as well that I'm calling these chords by their shape name, okay? So technically, when I play this E minor here, what you're hearing, what's intended, is B minor, okay? But I'm going to talk about these chords with the shape that we're using. I think that'll be easier for you to relate to, especially if you're newer in your playing. So up here at the 7th fret then, it's all open position chords, which is great. As we go through the other positions, the chords will get more and more challenging. For example, when we move down here, we'll be throwing an F chord into the mix. And when we move away from the capo entirely, we'll be playing our B minor here. We'll be playing an F sharp 7. Okay, and there's going to be more bar chords as we go through the other renditions of this as well. So we'll have B minor up here, F sharp 7, A, E7, G, D, E minor, F sharp 7 again. Okay, now if those chords that I just showed you there made you want to run for the hills, okay, then don't worry. That's what this is for, that capo, okay, to keep things bit more approachable. And that's where we're going to start out. Okay, so as you carry on through the video, there'll be hopefully something for you to get you playing Hotel California. Okay, so have fun with that. Okay, so here's Hotel California at the 7th fret, just outlining those chords. Pass through the verse and the chorus chords there, just hitting each chord on beat 1 of the bar. Okay, I would definitely recommend doing that until you can do that comfortably and you're getting in each chord in time, and aim to try and let the chord ring out across as much of the bar as possible. Okay, so we don't really want to hear 1, 2, and have that big empty dead space in the middle. We want that chord to ring out, breathe across that bar. Now that might be a challenge at first. You might need that time to move those fingers into the next chord, and that's why this step is a really good exercise to do. Okay, make sure you can nail those chord changes before fancying things up in the right hand, because more over here is going to make it harder to concentrate on what's going on over here. Okay, so get that step first and then on to the next bit. Okay then, right, if you've got the outline of the chords and now you want to get some strumming onto there, here's a great strumming pattern you can use through Hotel California. It sounds something like this. Going on there then? Well, against our count, which is quite slow in Hotel California, clocks in about 75 beats per minute, I believe. So if we're counting here, we're actually playing in 16th notes or semi-quavers. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, 4 strums, as it were, per beat. And on beat 1, we're going to play 3 of those 4 possible strums. We're going to do 1 E and A. Okay, so we're doing down and then down, 1 E and A. Okay, down, down, up. On beat 2, we're going all in on each one of those 4 possible strums. Down, up, 2 E. Okay, so our little rhythmic cell that we've got there is 1 E and 2 E and okay, that's it. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, now what about beats 3 and 4? The same thing, we're going to repeat it. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, that's it. We're going to take that through all of those chords, and that's the pattern we'll use. Works really nicely. Works really well through the chorus as well. So you can just lock into that one pattern, that one feel, and take that through the whole song. Okay, so have a bash at that, see if you can get that working, and if you can do all of that and you're looking for something else to give that just a little bit more inflection, a little bit more nuance and sophistication, then check out this next rhythm. Okay, just a quick little note on the strumming for this one. Now I said we're dealing with 16th notes or semi-quavers, and if you're new to those it might be difficult to count them initially. I definitely would recommend trying out just putting on a metronome, here's one I prepared earlier, and counting those 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. You can see that's at 70 beats per minute. You can see how very quickly it gets quite quick counting that, and all of that going on in your head when you're trying to strum and keep time can be a lot to think about. So for this song, I'm going to show you another way you can think about counting this, and rather than think about one bar filled with 16 notes, okay, think about 2 bars, each one filled with 8 notes. Okay, so we'll take our rhythm and we'll think of it across 2 bars rather than 1 bar. So here's 75 beats per minute. This is about the speed of the song. So rather than that, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, what we're going to do is think about our pulse as being twice the speed of that. 150. That might sound quite quick, but it's actually, I think, going to make it easier to count. Rather than thinking of 1 E and a 2 E and a, now we've only got to think about 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so it'd be like this. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, less of a mouthful than all that E and a business. Okay, so think about each chord as lasting 2 bars. I think that your head will feel clearer and you'll probably have a better time at keeping count through there if you're thinking in 8th notes rather than 16th notes. Okay, if I pop that back down to 75, you'll hear it sounds the same. What I'm actually playing. The only thing that's different is where you're feeling that pulse. Okay, is it slow or is it fast? And how you feel that will make a difference, I think, to how well you can perform that. So definitely try out the 2 bar approach if you're finding all the 16th note business tricky to keep on top of. Okay, have some fun with that. Okay, so Final piece of the puzzle then, if you really want to bring Hotel California to life, strumming on your acoustic, I would take the chords and the pattern that we've got so far and just add in one extra thing onto there. And rhythmically, things are going to be the same. We're still going to be playing 1 E and 2 E and But now what we're going to do in the right hand is split up our strokes between the low strings and the high strings, or the bass and treble. And this is something that I like to do quite a lot. I think it adds quite a lot of dynamic range into the strumming that you're doing, rather than just blocking out all the strings, which is great for a lot of things, okay? But it's just kind of working on one level. It's just boom, 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 boom. Everything's knocking all out at one volume. What we're going to try and do is just add a little bit of nuance into that with this low and high approach. So listen to this. I think that sounds a bit sweeter than... Here it is again. So, strumming wise, it's still down, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 E and 2 E and up. And now I'm doing low, high, high, low, low, high, high. And E minor is a nice one to start with because you've got all 6 strings available to you. You don't have to be completely exact with this, okay? You could think of it as 3 strings and then 3 strings. But that's actually quite hard to do, thinking about the number of strings each time, okay? And being really mechanical in that actually really stiffens things up. And it's not really the desired effect. We want this to be quite loose and free. If you hit 2 strings one time or 4 strings another, that's really not a problem. It's just trying to capture a bit of that feel. And this works quite nicely in capturing some of the feel of the original record, I think. If you listen to the tune, there's a guitar part on the record that goes through the whole chord sequence, playing these kind of muted strokes. And it plays those on the and of each beat, okay? So 1 E and 2 E and, okay? 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and. Okay? Doesn't sound as good on the acoustic as it does on their electric guitars when they play it, but that's where it fits in. It's this little scratchy part that follows the chords. And by hitting our high strings, we're kind of getting a bit of that feeling there. Now we're capturing a bit of that almost kind of reggae feel that you get on the original tune. So it's a really nice way to play through these chords. You can use it through the chorus as well, just stick to that same pattern the whole way through. So I'll give it a bash for you here. Going through the whole sequence, I'll just run through the chords once with this new pattern, okay, so you can get a feel for it. It should sound something like this. verse and chorus then just play through using that new pattern. Hopefully you like the sound of that. If it's something you enjoy, then just, as I say, get it nailed on one chord first, E minor or G. It's a good one. Try and keep this hand loose, as I say. Don't be stiff over here and really try and get a certain number of strings. Just let this one relax like it should be anyway, and aim for that low and high approach. Really aiming to target those higher notes in that offbeat position. Okay, so have some fun with that one then, and check out the rest of the video if you want to see some other positions to play this in, and some extra challenge, okay, if you're up for it. Have fun. Okay, if you've mastered playing Hotel California up at the 7th fret, or just didn't like playing it up there and want to play it somewhere else, here's another place you can play it, down at the 2nd fret. Now I've played this one live acoustically a few times, and I've actually used this position here. Just one guitar on its own, I find playing with a singer it's fine up here at the 7th fret, but I found it just had a bit more body and a bit more bass playing down here, and all the chords are still accessible here. The reason I've done this one second is because this has got an F chord in the sequence, okay, the dreaded F chord, which might give some of you some sleepless nights. So at the 7th fret it's all just straight open chords, okay. Down here there will be one F chord to muster. You don't have to do it as the full bar chord, okay. There's some different ways to play that F chord, and I've got a video on different ways you can play that F chord, so check that out if the F is still giving you trouble. But down here then at the 2nd fret, all the strumming ideas that I talked about up at the 7th fret are going to be the same, okay. So the first step is just nail the chord changes, just going through getting one strum per chord on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, nail the changes first. Really important, that left hand has to be right, or it doesn't matter what you do over here, it'll sound naff. So go through, get the changes, get the strumming. If you like the strumming, if you want to go further with that, try the low-high type approach as well, okay? So all of that stuff remains the same. Let's just take a close look then at these chords. So over here, we'll now be playing for our sequence A minor. And then E7. Then G. And then we're going to do D. Could be a D7. That would also work just fine there. Then we're going to go for the dreaded F. Okay, I play that here with the 5-string version myself, okay. Going for the full bar is totally doable, it's great. Next to the capo, you might find that a little bit awkward. There's a bit more space down here than there is at the 2nd fret, but this works fine. And this 5-string version will transition really nicely to C, which is the next chord. Okay. Then we've got a D minor. Okay. That could be a bit of a challenge, that one as well, to start with. It could be a bit stretchy. If you're finding this 3rd finger can't get over in place, you can try your pinky. Okay. I'll use that sometimes myself, particularly if I want to free up that 3rd finger for doing other jobs. Okay. Don't need that here, but you might like to do it that way. Make sure that this finger, if you're using it, or the pinky, either one, make sure it does get over into that fret, okay? If this one drags back, it's going to be buzzy back there, and it will want to bunch up and be close to its friends, but you've got to spread it out and get that one up next to that 3rd fret, okay? Worst case, that might even drag all the way back into the 2nd fret, and then we're getting really kind of jazzy and weird there, okay? D minor. Last chord in the sequence, back to E7. Okay. In the chorus, we'll have F, so it starts on F, the chorus, C, E, E7, A minor, an F, C, D minor, E7. Okay, so I'll play it for you down here with these positions. I think it sounds quite nice down here, a bit fuller than it is up the top. Up the top it's really sparkly and that's lovely. The two parts would actually work very well together if you've got a friend you can play with, or the ability to record yourself. You could record yourself doing one part and play the other, get a really nice big full sound, which is the approach the Eagles take, I think, with a lot of their stuff. They record lots of different layers of guitars and it sounds really big, sounds really nice. So here we go. Here's Hotel California down here with some strumming on. Verse and chorus sequence there in the second position. I really like that there. It feels more comfortable for me to play. I feel really squeezed in up here at the 7th fret, especially with that B7 like I mentioned. I love the sound of it up there, but down here it just feels more comfortable to me, so I quite like playing that there on the old acoustic. You might like that too, so have some fun with that one, okay? If you want to go beyond the capo and get into playing this one without that at all, then check out the next couple of versions that I've got lined up for you. Okay, thanks. Okay, right, throwing the capo out the window, and now we've got one more challenging chord in our sequence, okay? Before we had an F to play over here for our, what would have been our G chords, we use this F shape. If we're playing without the capo, then we've got one extra one to deal with, and that's going to be for the F sharp 7 chords, okay? What previously we played with an E7 chord here and the capo on at the 2nd fret, and we had the capo there and played an E7 in front of it. That gave us F sharp 7. With no capo, we've got to do that bar ourselves. So now we'll have this B minor. This was the A minor shape before, but now our first finger is going to do the work that capo was doing. So B minor is our first chord. First finger across 5 strings. Okay, it doesn't have to go all the way up, it's not needed. 5 strings. These fingers are going to make an A minor shape in front of that. Okay, so 3rd and 4th fingers, they are at the 4th fret on the D and G strings. 2nd finger, 3rd fret on the B string. All together should sound like that. Okay. This really works quite nicely with the next chord, the F sharp 7. And we can replace F sharp 7 with just F sharp. Let's look at that one first. So from this position then, it's actually, if you're into bar chords, this is quite a nice change. All we're going to do is take what we've got here and we're going to move up a string. So my first finger's now going to come across all 6 strings. All of these fingers here are going to move up 1 string. And now I've got an F sharp chord. These were making an A minor shape before, they're making an E shape here. You may know that E and A minor, they're the same shape really, it's the same shape that the fingers are making, just put it down in a different place. Now we're using that idea in front of that first finger bar. So B minor and F sharp. Now that will work just nicely there, okay, that'll be fine. If you want to go the extra step and go for the F sharp 7, then from your F sharp, lose the pinky. Take that one out. Okay. Now you've got the E7 shape in front of that bar. Now that's the front end of the sequence, okay? That's the first 2 chords in the sequence. So if you're not au fait with bar chords, if you find those difficult, this might not be the best way for you to play Hotel California. So get your capo back out, 2nd or 7th fret, and tackle those ones first, okay? But if you're into a bit of barring, and you don't mind doing those 2, then you'll be away with this new way of playing it. So starts then with B minor, F sharp 7. All the rest of the chords in the sequence are going to be straight open chords now, which is nice. A, E, or E7 if you like, G, D, E minor, and then F sharp 7 on the end. Chorus, G, F sharp 7, B minor, G, D, E minor, F sharp 7. Okay, so that's all the chords that are involved to play this sequence over here. This is quite a nice way of playing it, I think. You get to use a lot of your open chords still, so you're getting more bass sound out of the guitar really. It's lower and more resonant. It's a nice way to play it. Doesn't need a capo. If your capo spontaneously combusts, okay, or gets lost under the sofa, you've still got a way to play this song. So here it is then. Let's go for something like this. Let's have 1. Verse and chorus, okay. I think it works quite nicely in that position. I think I probably prefer it with the capo at the 2nd fret. Maybe I've just been spoiled by the brighter sound you get when playing further up the neck, but to me it just sounds a little bit boomy down there now when I'm playing things like the E minor. So I quite like that capo at the 2nd fret, but this might be the way you want to go about it. So it's there if you want to try it, okay. So have some fun with that one. Okay then, right, so the big boy version then of Hotel California, using all bar chords and movable chords. There's a few things to talk about here then. So firstly, the chords that we're using. Let's take a look at those through the verse and chorus sequence. Now we're going to start with B minor, but instead of down here, we're going to play it up here at the 7th fret. Now playing up here at the 7th fret for a B minor, first finger is going to be across the whole 7th fret, and 3rd and 4th finger, they're coming on to the 9th fret at the A and D string. If you think back to playing with a capo at the 7th fret and playing an E minor chord there, that's what we're now doing or here, okay? This is taking place of the capo, and there's our E minor shape with these two. And we're playing it here because it's going to give us quite a nice little sequence to play using these chords, okay? Rather than jumping back and forth using B minor over here, we're going to go here. So it's really nice up here, nice and bright. You can use the second finger to help support the bar if you're finding that you need a bit of extra pressure. You may find that as you come further up the neck, the strings tend to get higher, the action gets higher. So if you need that extra support, rather than letting that middle finger slack off, get it doing something productive. Okay, so B minor. Then we're going to play F sharp 7, and we're going to do that here at the 9th fret using this chord shape. So what am I doing here? This is essentially what you may know as a C7 chord. If you've played C7 down here in the open position, think about a C chord, then the little finger comes on to the 3rd fret on the G string. Now down here playing a C, that's all well and good. You can go all the way out to the open E string. But if we want to use this shape elsewhere on the neck, if we move it around, the open E string, that's got to go. That's no good to us anymore. So we're going to get the first finger to drag down and knock that one out. Now you may have found when you play C that happens anyway. Okay, you might not have quite mastered the C yet, and that E string gets a bit lost. Well, that'll actually help you here, so that's good. If you've put the effort into getting your C nice and clean, and that E string rings out nicely, now we're going to undo all of that good work for our C7, and we're going to move this shape around. So we've got this then, this comes up to the 9th fret. So what I've got here then is the 9th fret on the A, that's the 8th fret on the D, 9th fret on the G, 7th fret on the B. That's F sharp 7 there, okay? So B minor, F sharp 7. Then we're going down to A, this big full bar chord. Okay, if you've learnt the F bar chord down here, it's that. Shuffle along to the 5th fret, bar all the way across, and these fingers pick up that E major shape in front of the bar. After A, it's E7. We're going to use our new 7 shape that we've learnt here at the 7th fret. Then we want G, same as the A, but down here at the 3rd fret now, big full bar chord. And then we're going to go for D. Okay, now D is going to be a little different to the others again. When we play a bar chord for D, here at the 5th fret, this can actually be done a couple of different ways, but I'm going to show you how I approach this and how I think actually a lot of guitar players approach this. And that's with this kind of bend in the 3rd finger. So let's just talk about this one quickly. When you see this chord written, you probably see it written in books like this. That's horrible to play, okay? And a lot of guitar players really don't like that. This stretch here between the 1st and 2nd fingers, trying to cram all these fingers in as you come further up the neck, just gets harder and harder. It's not good down here either. That stretch gets bigger. It's horrible. So most players don't actually do this. I know that some do, and I'll use it myself from time to time. But you'll see most people do this, I think. Check out this 3rd finger here. So this is going on. Rather than my finger joints being out nice and strong like they should, the 3rd finger is actually flattening itself down at that last joint and applying pressure so I can get the D, G and B strings ringing out at the 7th fret. 1st finger, it might look like it from where you're sat, but this is not actually barring. All that's happening with that 1st finger there is that's playing this note here on the 5th string, 5th fret, 5th string, all these notes underneath, they're all dead there. The bar is on that third finger. You can use your fourth finger if you prefer. If you've got a nice strong pinky, you can squish that one down there. That doesn't have quite as much of an unnatural curve in it when that goes down, so I will use that one myself as well. I use both of these depending on where I am on the neck and what I'm doing. But I'm going to go for the third finger here, I think. So after that chord, we want an E minor, and we're going to start coming back up this way now. See how we've worked our way down? B minor, F sharp, A, E, G, D, and now E minor. Okay, this is just like the B minor shape from earlier on. Now up at the 7th fret. Bar across 5 strings. Okay, this one, not doing anything, don't need it. Bar across the 5 strings there, A minor shape in front of the bar. That's E minor. And then the last chord of the verse is F sharp 7. And we're going to go back to this one. For the chorus, we've got a bit of a jump down to G and then D. Then we want F sharp or F sharp 7. I actually quite like going down low here. So we're going to use this one from earlier on, and we're going to play B minor down there as well. Okay, so we're getting all the chords in on this one. G, then D, and to finish up, E minor, and F sharp 7 again. Okay, so we've got quite a bit going on there. I'll give you a playthrough of all of that. Starting with the verse, let's have something like this. Let's go for. After that last F sharp then, by working your way back up, you're nicely positioned to get back to B minor for the verse and do it all again. Okay, so that then I think is the most challenging way you can play those chords. It does sound good. That's probably the approach I would take if I was playing rhythm guitar on electric. On the acoustic, I think that's actually quite tough to do. And you'll find that this hand is going to get a little bit sore doing all those bar chords. Hotel California is quite a long song, so that hand is probably going to get tired, which is where playing more open chords and using those capo approaches really work quite nicely on the acoustic, more so than on the electric, I think. So have a go at this one, have some fun with it if you like it. Play with caution, don't overstrain that hand doing those bar chords for too long, okay? Go careful with that. Have some fun, and give me a shout if you've got any questions. Okay, for those of you that are maybe a little bit further along in your playing and want a little extra something to put into this one, I'm going to show you how you can pick up the little bass run that goes on in the chorus. Okay, I'll show you in all the different positions where you might like to try that. If you're starting up here at the 7th fret, then in the chorus you'd hear something like this. bass drum before it goes back to your C shape there. Okay, now that takes place then. Technically it's over a B minor chord, but for us we'll think about it being E minor. So the way I would approach that then, I'm coming out of the B7. There it is again. Okay, so out the back of this then, I'm going to move up. I'm thinking about E minor, sorry, here, with this shape. But what I did there was hit the E string, and then the top end of the chord. Low, high, and then walk through those notes: bass, strum, bass, strum, bass, strum, bass, bass, bass. And that last note is the first note of the C bar. Now I've done that there with fingers 2, 3 and 4. You could do it with different fingers. You could do it 1, 2, 3. More comfortable for you. That's got the added advantage, I think, of when you've done it, you're set up quite nicely for that C chord. If you use this approach, the second finger doesn't actually have to move anywhere from the E minor shape with the bass drum to the C chord. That's a nice little move you can do there. I played that first time then with fingers 2, 3 and 4, because that seemed a little easier to move up from the B7. Okay, I would try out both of those and see what works for you. Okay, there's no right or wrong, the notes all sound the same. Okay, so once again then here we would be E string for the bass note. We're going to strum the chord. Then we want what's now essentially the second fret, okay, 2 frets in front of the capo. We're going to play that. 3rd fret. Then we change string, A string, open, 2, and the last note, the 3rd fret, is actually going to be the first note, the first beat in the C bar. Okay, that falls on the second line of the chorus. So here it is in the chorus. Okay, and you're away into that second line. I think that's a really nice part to put in if you can get it. Let's try it in some different positions then. If we were playing down here at the 2nd fret, it would now be based around this A minor shape. Okay, remember it was based over the B minor. This is our B minor down here, using the A minor chord in front of the capo. Our notes now are here, starting on the A string, open, 2, 3, open, 2, 3. Okay, so even though I'm playing different frets, when we've got the capo on, we're still thinking about 1, 2, 3 from wherever that capo is. Okay, yeah, technically that's the 4th fret, but when the capo goes on, our open string becomes 0 again. Okay, so open, 2, 3, open, 2, 3. Fitting that in around the A minor chord then for our bass and strum approach. A little trickier here, using the A minor and the F. So if we think about A minor, the 2nd finger is going to come away, but the other 2 are going to stay in place. That's our top part of the chord that we'll hit. So it's the A string and strum. 2nd finger comes down 2nd fret, pinky comes on, 3rd fret, D string, open, 2, okay, and then pinky picks up the 3rd fret as part of the F chord, okay. So this is a little bit of a trickier one if you're not great at those Fs. That's where it lives there. Now, playing without a capo, if you're playing down here in the open position, very similar to the last one in where it falls. We said before, we called it open, 2, 3, open, 2, 3. Without a capo, they revert back to their normal names, okay? That's 2, 4, 5 on the A string, 2, 4 on the D string, and the last note, it does live there, but this note, the 5th fret, is also that note, the open G string. And I like to use that one that helps me get back to that G chord there. When an open string is sounding, this hand isn't needed, it can go anywhere you want, okay? And that's a really useful technique for finding chords, okay? If you have to move around, if you've got an open string, move around. That's what I'd use there in that position. Doing it in the other position with the bar chords, I do a very similar thing. Except I'd be tempted to maybe do something like that, where I'd use the 5th fret note instead of the open. You can still use the open. That might help you form that full bar chord. Or use the pinky and get into the 5-string version of that chord. Either way, I would try and use the notes here in this position. Okay, so if you want to have a work on that extra bit, then go for it. I think it sounds great in that chorus. It's really recognisable, that part. It's a big part of every chorus. So if you can get it in there, it just elevates your performance of that song to a nice new little level. So give that a try, have some fun with it, enjoy. Okay, so I'm going to show you an extra little part you can put onto your rendition of Hotel California if you like, and it's going to be an intro part. I'm not going to show you the exact intro part they play. That's quite fiddly and uses 12 strings. It's a really nice part, but I think it sounds, to me, it doesn't sound super scripted. It sounds like it's quite free, and you could almost play around with patterns like that as long as you're sticking to those chords. Whatever you do picking around those chords, it's going to sound great because it's such a nice set of chords. So I'm going to show you a nice pattern you can use, which will work across all the different variations that we've tried. We'll start up here at the 7th fret and go through the pattern, okay? So give this a try. What I'm going to do is, with our E minor, we're going to strum through it, and then we're going to pick down. That's the D, G, B string, and then we're going to pick back up on ourselves from the E string, E, B, G, D. Okay. I think that sounds quite nice. Now this is going to be a 2-bar pattern then. It will take place across 2 bars, across the 2 chords that we've got. So E minor, and then we're going to B7, and we're just going to do the ascending notes, okay? So going down towards the floor. Strum, pick down on the D, I actually pick up on that last one on the E string. Okay. Here it is across 2 bars. And that's the pattern. That will work across all of those chords as long as you stick to that format of strumming the chord and then picking the top 4 strings. So here's the whole sequence. And I think that sounds quite nice as a little intro you can put onto there without going into the minutiae of exactly what they played on the record. I think it's a little bit easier. So that's it there at the 7th fret. It will work everywhere else that we've talked about. So down here at the 2nd fret, same idea, strum and pick in that order, okay? If you're playing here, you know, with the bar chords, it's exactly the same wherever you go. Maybe ever so slightly different if you're using this one because you're just on those middle strings. Okay, so you'll use those instead of the top 4, the middle 4 strings. But there you go, that's a little intro pattern you can try. Strum, then pick down, back up, 2nd bar, strum, and just pick down. Okay, I think it works quite nicely. So have some fun with that, enjoy. Okay, if you've made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Hopefully there's something in there that works for you, whether it's just outlining the chords or going a bit further into bar chords, or maybe you've got a new strumming pattern to try out. There should hopefully be something for everyone. I'm going to put in the description a few links. Firstly, I'm going to jot down everything I've kind of done in this video, the various strumming patterns and picking things, and I'm going to make those tabs freely available. There'll be a link to a place called Gumroad where you can get those. There'll be the option to leave a small donation for those if you want, but they'll be absolutely free for you to get hold of. I'm also going to link my website where you can get in touch with me about private lessons if you'd like to, one-to-one lessons across Skype or Zoom or whatever it is. I'm also going to leave there a link to Kofi where you can leave me a tip if you fancy it, that would be amazing. Or my Patreon where you can subscribe to me on there if you want, and there'll be various rewards, things like tabs for all the videos I do on this channel, as well as early access, and also things like discounts off of private lessons as well. Okay, so I'll leave some stuff down in the description, check that out as well. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you again. Take care.